One of golf's biggest stars is having his name on the Hollywood marquee for the first time in his career. Rory McIlroy is ready for his Northern Trust Open debut.
We don't play golf courses like this very often anymore on tour, and it's a real treat when you come to a golf course like this.
Plus, Sergio Garcia finished one shot out of a playoff here at Riviera in 2015. I'll let you know what he's done to turn that around. All that and more as Golf Central starts now.
Golf Central. Brought to you by Titleist.
We start tonight with world number 1 Lydia Ko coming off a win in her native New Zealand last weekend, teeing up in Australia. Her first round is underway. She is on the course, so let's see how she is faring out of the gates. Here's a look at her scorecard so far in the Women's Australian Open. You see Ko starting off the 10th tee. She is the defending champion in this event, has one bogey. She bounced back with a birdie on the par 5 13th, her 4th hole of the day. So she is even par through her first 5 holes. We will update you on her first round throughout this edition of Golf Central. Ko obviously in good spirits heading into the Women's Australian Open.
Getting my first win of 2016 last week was really good because at the back of my mind I doubted a little, thinking, hey, after Keller, maybe it's not going to go so well this Sunday. Those thoughts kind of come. So I think my win from last year definitely helps, momentum-wise, and I think that I think we have 2 months off. I had a whole month where I didn't touch the club. I think that was really important for me to be really energized and fresh coming back. It's a long season. You only think, hey, there's 34 events, on the calendar, but it's a long time, and you're away from home a long time. So there's a lot of stress physically and mentally. So to me, taking that month off was, I think, really important for me to just keep being fresh the rest of the season.
You get to see all the highlights of Lydia Ko's first round as she defends her title in the Women's Australian Open. Golf Channel live first round coverage beginning tonight, 11 o'clock Eastern, also available on the Golf Live Extra app. Over here stateside, the PGA Tour is wrapping up the West Coast swing with the Northern Trust Open. World number 1, Jordan Spieth, and number 3, Rory McIlroy headline the field. The 4-time major champion, Rory McIlroy, making his first appearance in this event at Riviera Country Club. Today, Rory getting in a practice round as he prepares for his first PGA Tour event this calendar year, 2016.
I wanted to come here because of what I had seen on TV and the great things that people say about Riviera, and I wanted to come and see it for myself, and this was was a perfect timing. I had a week off after all the stuff I did in the Middle East and give my time to sort of regroup and get myself over to the West Coast, and excited to be here. Played the back 9 yesterday, played all 18 today, and it's a great golf course. We don't play golf courses like this very often anymore on tour, and it's a real treat when you come to a golf course like this where it's not overly long. You don't have to really bomb it off the tee, but it's real strategic. You got to place your ball on the right sides of the fairways. You got to make sure you hit it to the right sides of the greens. You really can't short side yourself here. You can't really get it above the pin. It's it's a real thinker's golf course. I think the Masters at this point of the year is on pretty much everyone's mind. You're building up to it. You've got some great events in between now and then, but obviously I'd love my game to be in peak shape for Augusta in April, and but as I was saying before, these tournaments that we've got coming up, we've got some of the strongest fields of the year. Stay injury free. I mean, that's really it. I mean, I'm trying to be strong, and but the whole reason I started this was because I was injured, and okay, I was injured last year, but for a completely different reason, and touch wood, I've been fine since, and I had a degenerative disc in my back that sort of stayed the same. It hasn't got any worse, for example. It's always been there. It's always been a disc that isn't quite as hydrated as the rest of them, but that's because that's a golf swing. You think of the golf swing and the torque and the load that you're putting on your spine. The spine does two things. It flexes and it rotates. and it doesn't like to flex and rotate at the same time, which is what a golf swing does. So if anything, the golf swing is way worse for your back than anything I do in the gym.
Even with a couple-month break in the middle, Rory McIlroy has been dialed in his last 5 starts worldwide. 5 top 11 finishes, 4 top 10s, and of course, that win at the DP World Tour Championship, which helped him sew up the European Tour's race to Dubai. Here's Angela Akins from Riviera. Rory is a day away from his LA debut.
George, Rory McIlroy is seeing Riviera Country Club for the first time this week. He played the back 9 on Tuesday, and he played all 18 during Wednesday's Pro-Am. His game looked very sharp, and he spent a little bit of extra time around the greens working on his chipping. He mentioned in his press conference that he thinks that he probably won't hit as many greens in regulation on this golf course. He is aware of that, so he wants to be prepared for those numbers. He also talked about he wasn't happy with the way that he was hitting his driver in Dubai, so he added a degree of loft, and that created a little bit more spin, and he's turning the ball over better right to left. He also talked about his competitiveness on the golf course and his drive to be world #1 again. McIlroy loves the stretch of golf coming up, leading up to the Masters, because it's some of the most competitive fields he will see all year. And George, McIlroy has told us in the past that he checks the world rankings every week. He still does that and still uses it as motivation.
All righty, George Savaricas with Golf Channel analyst Tripp Eisenhower. Tripp, what's Rory's key this week to make it a successful one?
Well, Riviera is just such a great test of golf, and Rory McIlroy loves stern tests of golf. That's why he's got such a great major championship record. But this is his first trip around Riviera. But one thing about Rory is he's a quick study on what he's going to need to do this week.
I think I saw a stat the other day that there was more 3-footers missed here than there was anywhere else all year last year. So I think by a long way, actually. So, inside sort of 5 or 6 feet is going to be really important this week, because, you're not going to hit the amount of greens that you're used to hitting. I mean, you hit 12 greens around here, you've done pretty well. So there'll be a lot of those holing out type distances for pars that'll be important.
And this is the thing about Rory McIlroy and these greens. He's exactly right. You have to be in the right position. Everybody's going to be missing these greens. And we know at times this can be the part of Rory McIlroy's game that's either spectacular or somewhat average. But if it's spectacular this week, I mean, Rory McIlroy's an easy guy to pick. And he's going to, I think, continue to put this golf course on his schedule, because once you play it as a player, you want to keep coming back. It is a stern test of golf. I think he's got everything pointing to Augusta correctly. It all starts right here at Riviera. Rory McIlroy's got to be on your short list of favorites this weekend.
Hold that thought. We'll get to your pick a little later in the show. And remember, a year ago, with 2 holes left to play in the Northern Trust Open, it seemed like Sergio Garcia was the pick to win the tournament, but the Spaniard stumbled down the stretch, going bogey on 17 and 18 to miss being in what was a 3-man playoff by a shot. Let's send it out to Angela Akins once again with more on Sergio Garcia.
George, the Northern Trust Open is actually Sergio Garcia's first PGA Tour event of 2016. Garcia arrived in California last Friday. He spent some time in Carlsbad having a new putter built for him. He has that putter in the bag this week, and he also has his putting coach, Danny Colomar, with him as well. The two have been working together for about a year, and in that time, Garcia has 1 win worldwide, and he is very happy with the partnership.
It feels quite good. I've been working with Danny, my putting coach. We've been working for almost a year now, and we've figured some things out. And mainly it's just weight distribution on the putter and stuff like that. Things that are going to help me be a little bit more consistent, hopefully. And it feels quite good, but we'll see how it develops when we start playing the tournament.
Why do you like starting off the year at Riviera?
First of all, it's an unbelievable golf course. I think it's one of the best golf courses we play all year. Hopefully the weather stays like this, which is amazing. And it's for me, it's just a great. It's just a little bit far from Europe, but it's a great start of the year to come here and really test your game on a quality golf course like Riviera is.
As we mentioned earlier, Garcia finished just 1 shot out of a playoff in the 2015 Northern Trust Open. Now, since the 2015 BMW Championship, Garcia has had plenty of time to rest. He's played in just 6 events, 7, including the Northern Trust Open, in that time. And he said that the rest was very much needed because he plays on both the PGA Tour and European Tour and does a lot of travel. But he also told me he is very excited to get his PGA Tour season started here at Riviera. George, back to you.
Yeah, Angela, with good reason. It seems like Riviera fits Sergio Garcia's game. He's had success in this event, which you alluded to, his 3 starts at the Northern Trust. He's posted 3 top 6 finishes. That tie for 4th last year almost seems deceiving with how close he was to ultimately winning that event. Much more to come on the show. Jordan Spieth hoping for another flashback of 2012 at Riviera, going head-to-head with Justin Thomas in the Northern Trust Open. Hear from them next. And world number 1, Lydia Ko, on the course has her first round underway. We'll keep you updated from down under next on Golf Central.
Golf Central is brought to you by the Titleist 915 drivers. Distance without compromise. Shipsticks, the largest golf bag shipping company in the world, simplifying the way you travel.